right, we got here. We have fought this war before by Jake Munro. Jake Munro is fucking awesome. I love his content. Let's check it out.
109 countries, man. When are we going to learn? When are we going to learn? In fact, we keep being separated by history. We seem to learn lessons and then promptly forget them over time. Like a dam that was built to redirect an unruly river, but without maintenance, succumbed to the current. But such time has passed, we'd never thought to rebuild the dam because we can't tell what it's about to do. We can't tell the dangers of it. The fact that it's heading towards a small town and will drown everybody. It really is true what they say about peace. Was it strong men make peaceful times make weak men make hard times.
Good
right?
times,
Something
but yeah.
like that, something to that effect. And I think it's this proverbial statement, which I think is honestly what keeps happening over and over again. You've got men that are hardened by wartime and hard times, and through their hardness, their lack of empathy and mercy, and a desire to do what needs to be done.
It's not, I don't really think it's the lack of mercy, really. It's that I think people who come upon hard times, they understand hardship. And that builds character, it builds understanding, builds wisdom. And these people, like these freaking these leftists, they don't have any of that. But I guess it is kind of tangentially true that they do become well, actually, you know what it is, really, to be honest?
Who the fuck is Leaflit?
What it is this comfort leads to people seeking a different form of currency, and a really vile form of currency, right? So when things are tough, and when things are tough and you want to provide a good life for your family, you really have to think about, you don't have time to think about yourself, really. You're thinking always about what you can do better for your family, for your community, for your country, how you can make things better, because they're not that great, right? And the problem is, a lot of these leftist people, they only think about themselves. They only think about, what can I have? What can other people do for me? What can my country do for me? It becomes not only about themselves, but then the currency they seek at that point, because they have a lot of the comforts, a lot of the basics are covered for them. They start to look for other ways that they can, how to explain it? The currency becomes how other people see them in society. And so that's where you get all this virtue signaling from. Because they're like, I don't really have to worry about that, so let me try to work on my social status. Fame, clout, being a part of the mob that approves of them, the approval of others, leads people into that route, which is why they're so fucking annoying. Because and this is the reason why they don't actually know what they believe every time, because it doesn't matter. What they believe doesn't matter as long as it goes with the flow and it gets them the pat on the head. That's what they care about, right? And they're fucking empty, yeah. So I think it is in retrospect, now that I've analyzed it a little bit more, I think Jake is right, and
Who the fuck is Leaflit?
In a roundabout way, that people no longer how do I explain it? No, that's what it is. It is what it is, actually. Is that if they go against the people that would cause a negative effect on others, that's not even a part of their calculation. Right? It's not even a part of their calculation, because they just want to look good themselves. So it doesn't matter what kind of externalities that there could be in the future. And this is I'm specifically talking about the people that actually do think about it, that actually do have the capability of thinking about it. A lot of people are just retarded. But this is more like me talking about the Gavin Newsom type of people, where I don't think that they're retarded enough. I think they actually do know what they're doing. And the other things for that gift sub, thank you.
Carrying out their duty, they save.
Has Helvetica killed the cheating husband? I don't know. No one knows.
pale
people from being consumed by the overwhelming population of
dark
people on the planet. Because I'm pretty sure we've always been the minority, okay? There's always been way more of them than there are of us. Do you have any idea how exceptional you need to be in order to survive like that? Do you know? Do you know how merciless you have to be? How intelligent you have to be? How pragmatic you have to be as a civilization, as a race, to survive on a planet like that? And I think every single time we have to learn the lesson the hard way. We never learn. We fix the issue when it arises, and then we go straight back to, oh my god, who cares about invasion? A new Pokemon game just came out. I've got a MacBook Pro. I have no problems at all. I have soft, delicate hands that I use to type on my computers. I'm not getting into any fight with some sort of barely quantifiable military that's fighting against us. What do you mean we're being invaded? I don't see any people in the streets with guns and shit. I'm gonna need a pretty definitive image of a military for me to get involved with fighting any of this. Because it seems to me, you guys want me to fight in a war based on conspiracy theories, and I just don't want to commit to that. You see, it really is the very alarming image of a military marching down your streets that would, it would motivate a lot of men to be like, we can't put up with this. We got to fight.
No, the issue. Okay, so the issue here is that you gotta, especially for I don't know, UK might be a little bit different, but for people in America, and maybe it was the case too in the UK before, but for the West is pretty fucking strong. Like, to be honest, like in terms of combat power, like if you were to take, there's different kinds of power, right? If we've all played Civ, right? In terms of like military combat power, America is basically unbeatable. So the only way to beat this is through culture or religious victory, right? They're not going to beat this in a tech victory. They're not going to beat this in a military victory. They need a cultural or religious victory, and that's basically what. If you don't think that that's what's going on, you have not been listening. So like this idea that Jake is saying right now is that there's like an invasion of other cultures and other ideas. This is 100% true. And again, Yuri Bezmenov told us this explicitly. Like in the 80s, he basically, Yuri Bezmenov said, guys, listen, I'm ex-KGB and this is what they're going to do. I promise you this is what they're going to do. This is their plan. This, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And no one listened to him. And we are literally living the consequences of like exactly what Yuri Bezmenov said.
Against this, they're literally marching.
So the point, like to kind of wrap up that point, the countries that want to destroy us, that don't like us, they have to use a different kind of victory in order to win. Whether that's influencing us enough, taking advantage of our democratic system to, a democratic system, and by the way, birthright citizenship, which is why the birthright citizenship was so fucking annoying, because it's so obviously being used. It's so obviously them taking some ideals that we have for really no reason, so obviously taken out of context, using that against us basically and holding us to that standard when it's not even. They obviously are trying to use it for nefarious purposes. And we're like, we're just going to leave that opening. That weakness, that glaring weakness, that big hole in our armor. We should just fucking leave it there. Just leave it there. Whatever, And it's very obvious that our enemies, our detractors, they want this to happen to us. They want us to have less voting power per American. They want us to have, our economy strained by all of this welfare. They want all of this because they're not going to beat us in a military. Guys, the United States will beat everybody. If everybody in the world ganged up on America at the same time, they wouldn't beat us for sure in a defensive war.
Except there's such ambiguity. There's such a dubious perspective. It's like, well, I've been told they're actually just here for a better life because their lives aren't very good, and the is very, very small, and they tend to keep to themselves. So I can't really see this as being much of a problem. Great.
Shiloh Hendricks? I don't know
until
that.
you see there is a very tangible problem in your streets, then you're not going to do anything. You realize by the time you see that, it's too fucking late.
Yeah, and this is the reason again why I don't know if you saw on side scrollers when I was talking to Phoenix. What was that, like last week? Phoenix was really fucking pissed off about the whole thing with the birthright citizenship, and like understandably so. It is a huge thing that we have to fix.
Like whenever you see a tech bro on your FYP talking about drop shipping, here's how you can make 10 grand a month by doing absolutely nothing. All you gotta do is use AI to connect this API to this thing, and then before you know it, you're selling stuff and you're making a passive income of 10 grand. By the time that is telling you how to make money without doing anything, it's too late. They want people to be unsure. They want people to be suspicious. They want people to be ashamed of engaging in a fucking conspiracy theory. The war is happening, right? It's happening. But until people see military costumes out,
well, the thing is people don't understand, and guys, this is what I mean. It's like these people not play. I guess they don't play Civ. I guess normies don't play Civ. But if you play Civ, you know what I'm talking about. You guys all play Civ, right, chat? You've all played Civ before? You ever like went for a culture victory or for a fucking religious victory, and you fucking bombed their freaking base, but it's not with cannons. It's not with cannons or arrows or ballista or siege towers. It's fucking priests. Like you just send all the priests there, and you like make all of this media that is like propaganda to out culture, out religion them. Yeah. Of course, right? Like, yeah, do they not know that you can be at war? You could be in opposition with another country that wants your destruction, but it's not physical. Like, Char, thank you so much for the prime. Thank you.
The streets and them holding guns and them looking you in the eye and being like, I'm taking your land now. People are just like, well, as far as I know, last time I checked, they're just looking for a better life. They're just asylum seekers. They're just migrants. And you know what? This is not going to be the last...
It doesn't matter because they're trying to drown out your culture. That's the point. Is it like guys, put it this way. They would not say this about any other culture. Right? Like if you said, for instance, like I'll just use Japanese culture. If you said, oh, Japanese culture is being drowned out and it no longer will exist, everyone will be like, oh my God, that's a terrible thing. But then you say the same thing with like America and it's like, whatever, it's terrible anyway. Or my melting pot, guys, we're melting pot.
Then we do this war. Okay, we've done this war. The war that's coming, we've done it before, like a bunch of times. We've done this war before, a lot. It's like the Matrix. The Matrix isn't wage slavery. The Matrix is having to fight against the same enemy over and over again and learning nothing from it.
Say America doesn't have a culture?
Again. It's the same
people. What
are you
talking about? These people not understand. Anyone that says America doesn't have a culture, they probably live in the fucking city, dude. Fucking city dwellers, man. Am I right, guys? Sad for Ages, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. They are trying to erase Japanese culture. I'm sure they are.
That instigated the war. It's the same people that are fighting each other. It's all the same. Every few hundred years, every 1,000 years or so, we fight it again. And in 1,000 years, there will be an FYP out there that doesn't say 109 countries. It says 100.
No, if you live in the countryside, there's plenty of American culture. Like the food is depending where you live. America is so big that we have a lot of different cultures. But like there's a lot of festivals if you live in the countryside. Tons of that.
14, right? There'll be a Jake Munro 3.0. There'll be another version of me. Maybe not.
I like the pickle festival. We have all the pickles. Like, dude, honestly, you know what's fucking state fairs is American culture.
Not, but there'll be another version of all this shit, and it's gonna be like 2809, and there's gonna be memes being shared on the hologram version of X, right? Whatever social media becomes by that point, and it'll just be like kicked out of 114 countries, causing the same problems. A Grok 3.0, are responsible for causing World War 3 and 4, and then the conspiracy will grow again, and they get thwarted once more. It's like we're living in a Saturday morning cartoon, right? Every single day, the good guys beat the bad guys. I'll get you for this, says the bad.
As a city dweller, I don't take offense to that, Leaf. Well, thank you, Bike Short Senpai. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean everyone that's a city dweller. Obviously, there's some people that live in cities for reasons other than that, but there probably is a lot less of that American culture in cities because it's just so like, I guess you guys have urban monoculture.
Guy, all you want, says the good guy. Saturday morning next week.
Thank you, Raytown.
It's the same war. It's the same battle. It's the same thing. And you realize with social media, this will becoming the frequency with which this war will keep rising is going to increase. There's simply a lack of communication that allowed like the Reconquista to be as long as it was like 800 years or something. With social media, this is going to be like a very frequent, reoccurring scenario. There's going to be a new Hitler, and he's going to be called, I don't know, Davidson. Oh yeah, Davidson out there. You don't want to be another Davidson. Yeah, Davidson, the leader of the Goobly army. They have Erica, but instead of Erica, it's Barbara. It's just going to repeat again. Every now and again, this guy comes up and he's just like, do you know what the real problem is? And you're going to gasp in horror because you've been programmed.
Yeah, this is what I keep saying, by the way, is that that the kind of modern left people, you know, like these sort of Hassan Piker, you know, happy that Charlie Kirk died, the whole white people, like left people, right? Those people, they're the ones who are creating the perfect scenario for freaking a new Hitler to come. They're the ones doing it. They're summoning him right now.
Some sort of self-righteous moral horror. And they get kicked out again, and then they'll slowly regroup, and they'll slowly start introducing themselves into your school systems, your governments, and start convincing you that the last guy who tried to get rid of them was the worst guy ever. And then all the white people will be like, yeah, he was the worst guy ever, I guess. Why do we want you around again? Why do we need? Not important. Yeah, he was the worst person ever. And then you can have a few hundred years of white people being really, really ashamed of the last time we tried to get rid of the main problem, and the main problem is there just whispering in your ear like worm tongue, just like everything's fine, keep doing porn, keep transing your kids, keep opening brothels, keep turning everybody gay, keep making rings. And then Gandalf the white supremacist kicks the door down. Is like,
Gandalf the white supremacist, bro. Celebrate Ages, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you.
shall not.
Yeah, which way, Western man, the second coming of Jesus or Hitler? I hate it, man. I'm gonna be real. I hate it. I hate it so much. I liked when we all didn't hate each other. Where there was only a couple of retards that did, and it wasn't really that big a deal. Everyone was chill. You had the group of friends in the CS:GO lobby hurling racial insults at each other, but they all loved each other in the end. They were a bunch of homies. I miss that times, dude. Good times.
We are coming anymore. We cast out that prick, finds his way back in again. We are doomed to repeat this cycle over and over again. This is not the first time we've been here. It's coming back. It seems like almost every single war in history is just people trying to protect themselves. Isn't that insane? You need to understand that the programming that they've been able to install into society is essentially this. As a global ethnic minority, you should feel ashamed for protecting what little land you possess and what little population comprises yourselves. You should feel bad about that. You should feel bad about trying to protect that. You should feel bad about trying to stop these people from trying to erase you from the planet. And all of these plans that you've heard of 1,000 times, like the Kalergi plan and ethnic replacement, these aren't real. They're not really happening. Despite what your eyes can see and your ears can hear, that isn't happening. What's actually happening
The funny thing is, too, is that if you actually listen, a lot of these people that say, oh, wow, you're talking about, like, some kind of replacement theory and that, like, wow, this is a conspiracy theory about this. But then on the meanwhile, people on the left will just say it straight up. Just be like, oh yeah, good thing, guys, soon the country will be minority white. And then they cheer. And it's like, wait, what? Like, wait, why are you cheering? What? Why are you cheering that? Right? And it's like, they do this all the time. And then if you call them out on it and you say, wait, what are you talking about? So wait, hold on. You are trying to replace white people then. They'll be like, what? How dare you? How dare you, conspiracy theorist?
migration, and these people just want a better life. Oh, for a second there, I thought all these people showing up and stabbing and us were actually just an invasion. But since you've said it's actually just harmless migration because of diversity that we have to protect for some...
The problem is that we haven't, guys... Listen, you can't really have both at this. Let me tell you two things, okay? There's two things in this world. And if you want to maintain your culture, you want to maintain your country, you need one of these two things. You can't have both at the same time. One, immigration, where you let in people from other countries, okay? You can't have that at the same time as we don't expect you to assimilate. You need to either... You can say, yes, immigration, we will have immigration, but then with that, we will gatekeep. We will gatekeep everybody that comes in with to make sure that you're culturally aligned, that you are actually on board with being an American, and that this is actually something you want, and you're not here for money. You're here actually because you believe in the ideals that we have as Americans. You can not have that, but then you can't have immigration. Even more so, you can only admit people from countries that are you can only, if you want to have free admittal of people from other countries, you have to make sure that you research them and that you 100, I don't even know if that's even possible, to be honest, to like 100% know that they're not lying. But we need to really be better at what's the word? We have to be better at making sure that people, especially kids, understand like the ideals of the country. Because the problem, okay, this is the problem. Sorry, my brain's a little scrambled today. The problem is that as an American, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way as me. I think so. I think you'll understand what I mean. As an American, I see a lot of these people on the left that are like, I hate America, fuck America, the worst country ever, fascist bigot like place, I can't wait for America to get toppled. Like, I look at these people and I'm like, why are we even in the same country? Like, I literally have nothing in common with you, like literally zero. Like, everything that you want, I want literally the opposite. So it's like, why are we even playing this game? Like, why am I paying you? Why are my resources, like from the things that I earn, why is that going to you? Right? And it just doesn't make sense. Like, why are we paying for this?
Reason, I guess I'll let it happen. And then people were entirely erased from the planet, and not once did they think it was deliberate. What a bunch of idiots. Not once did they think, when the last two people were looking each other in the eyes, and not at one point did they think this is deliberate. This is just the natural progression of diversity, and I for one am happy to sacrifice myself for diversity, is what these people will.
Thanks for the 200 power back. US was founded by people who wanted to worship God for themselves, rule for themselves. If you can't think and act independently of the mob, you aren't ready. Yeah. Remember the compilation video of all the anti-white news articles? They can say that, but if we replaced it with black, they'd be outraged. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you on that, by the way. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like I said, guys, like, I'm actually super not racist. I'm actually super not racist. These people are the actual racists. These, like, anti-racist people are by far more racist than I could ever hope to be.
Say most likely. How do you convince people not to fight against an invasion? You tell them it's not an invasion, it's actually just diversity. And you have their world leaders convince them that diversity, for some reason, is the most important thing in the world. And anybody who attempts to destabilize this diversity, everyone who attempts to challenge diversity, is the enemy.
We have a lot of diversity. We got Brits. People are descended from Brits. We got Irish people, Italians, Polish people, Dutch people. Yeah. It's diverse. It's pretty fucking diverse. Germans, yeah, pretty fucking diverse. We even got people from Cuba now. You know, people from Cuba and from Mexico. It's pretty fucking diverse. What do you mean? Yeah, Chinese people too, and Japanese people and Koreans. What do you mean? Pretty fucking diverse to me, honestly. Like, what are these guys even talking about? What are they talking about?
Even if the enemy looks exactly like you and has your best interest to heart, you also then have to remember that preserving whiteness is also inherently racist and should never, ever be done. Isn't that right? Yes, it should never be done. Yes. Who's the most evil person in the world? Hitler. That's right. Yes. Now put your head on the chopping block. Ahmed will be cutting your head off now. It's not diversity. All of these things have been misappropriated to try and subdue your critical thinking. You're looking at an invasion, and meanwhile, someone is...
Which is the big problem, by the way, is a lack of critical thinking. We stopped teaching it in schools, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's like all of a sudden people can't think for themselves.
Whispering in your ear, it's not invasion, it's diversity. And diversity is the best thing ever. And you need it. You need the cultural enrichment. They just want a better life. But why am I responsible for that?
No, I agree. I want
a better life. But why am I responsible for that?
I totally agree. I hate that argument. Stroke of Fire, thank you so much for the 100. Leaf, I volunteer to be that guy who pushes the button that launches the America haters in the fucking sun. Meant to kill, thank you so much, Straka. And Meant to kill, thank you so much for the sub as well. No, I totally agree with that. Like, I hate that argument. The argument of like, well, they just want a better life. Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, cool. Cool story. You got anything else? Like, what the fuck do I care? Why do I care about it, right? Unit 285, thank you so much for the prime. Thank you. Yeah, and the thing is like, here's the funny thing, right? Is like people will be like, oh, like Leaflit's such a racist or whatever. I'm not actually anti-immigration. I just think if you're gonna immigrate here, you better want to be an American. Because like if you don't want to be an American, what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out. Right, just get out. If that's it, it's that simple. Sure, I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, it's like well they want don't you know they just want to they want to come to America for a better life? Yeah, don't care. If your reason to come to America is just, well, I want a better life. Well, how's that my problem? And so what's in it for me? Right? Like, so what's in it for us? What's in it for us Americans? What do we get from this? What do you get? What's our, you know, you don't come to the table. You don't open up a trade with someone and like I put the item in the trade and then you just hit confirm. Right? Like that's not how this is. That's not how this works. Oh my god, Dreadnought, thank you so much, man. Oh wait, no, sorry, not Dreadnought. Desert Ghost. I don't know why I read that as Dreadnought. Desert Ghost, thank you so much for the 20 gift subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my god, raid from Lord Rexworth. Lord Rexworth, I heard you're gonna be on Side Scrollers tomorrow. That's pretty awesome, man. I hope you had a good stream, Rex. Thank you. Word Force, thank you so much for the kicks. Thank you for the 100 quicks. And Desert Ghost, thank you for the 20 gift subs. Super appreciate it, man. Thank you for the generosity. Thank you so much. And thank you, Wycarnate as well for the sub. Leaflet is not racist enough. Yeah, a lot of people would say that. I'm either too racist or not racist enough. That's right. I'm okay with immigration if we form them migrants into battalions and use them to overthrow their home nations. Make them take responsibility for their home nations first, dude. That's a damn good idea, actually. Anyway. Thank you so much. Thank you. Don't worry, Leaf, I'll be racist for you. Well, okay, so let me tell you why racism is bad. Alright, racism is just bad because it's retarded. That's the reason why. I'm not against prejudice. Two different things, I think. Prejudice is fine. Pure racism is dumb. Racism is bad? Yeah, it's because what racism... Let me tell you... Okay, let me explain to you why racism is bad. The reason why racism is bad is because you are not considering the whole picture. right? And I'm not telling you to not consider certain things. I'm telling you to consider the entire picture, right? So if you're the type of person that like sees Thomas Sowell, for instance, and like Thomas Sowell, all of his works, all of the things he talks about, and you're like, yeah, I hate that guy because he's black, you're a retard, basically. You see my point here? It's why it's bad. But prejudice is not bad. Prejudice is when you're like, okay, like, listen, the data, it has flowed into my mind, and I have built a model in my mind of input and output. So here's the input. My brain goes, oh, fuck, danger. Look at these stats. They're not good. I have a high chance of getting fucking stabbed right now. And then you go, you know what? Maybe I'm going to back up and walk the other way. That's totally fine. Or you know what? There is a homeless person on this thing right now, and he's muttering to himself, I probably don't want to fall asleep or look at my phone while he's standing here next to me because he might fucking stab me in the heart, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being a bad person for being like, this is the data. These are the odds of this thing happening. Not worth the risk for me. Not worth the risk for me. Fuck that, right? Or like if you're going to hire a person and there's no data, you have no data. Say like, I want to hire this person, but like, I don't know, man. Like I've seen how he looks. I've seen how he talks. This is the data for that kind of a person. Can I look up their criminal record? What do you mean it's illegal? I can't look up their criminal record? Oh, I guess I have to go off of my gut feeling then. Right now, if you could look up their criminal record and you could look into their background, then that gives you more information. All right? So the point that I'm making here is that if you are presented with more information and then you're like, I still don't like them because they're this color skin, then you're being kind of stupid. Do you understand my point? So it's not the data pointing you towards a direction. It's when the data increases, you get more data. And now that you have the more data, you can build a more comprehensive picture. But then you're still like, oh, I'm still going to default to like my original data. Then that's what makes you stupid. Do you understand? I'm very, very much, I'm very, what do you call it? I feel like I have a very nuanced take on this compared to most people. Like, I don't think that prejudice itself is bad. And I made an entire song about it, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I made an entire song called Being Prejudiced is Awesome. And it's just a song about how being prejudiced is a good thing. And it's fine to be prejudiced. But then the problem is that when you're faced with more data and you ignore that data in order to stick to your original assumption, then you are fucking yourself over. Making yourself less competitive and a bunch of things. I'm always right, and I fucking hate it. Every theory they validate